of resetting everything. So sends a signal, then processes, and then after it's done processing, then the processing will go solid, and then it'll confirm the signal, and then it resets everything. Easy as that. Okay, so before you had seen all the buttons that they switched the track, but then now I added torches to indicate which track is activated. Now whenever you hit one of these buttons, then it takes about 20 seconds to go, and so it was really frustrating because, I mean, you just kind of sit around here and wait to see if something's going to happen. And, I mean, eventually it does. That light on there comes up right up there, and then once the signal gets sent back, then it'll confirm and it'll turn both the lights on, and it's all fine and dandy. But it's still kind of frustrating. So I made this as kind of like a progress bar, just to receive the signals, and it'll tell you how everything's going. So to demonstrate that, if you push the button here, then the first signal will light up saying that it's sending it, and then it'll start processing the signal, because the signal has to be sent down, and then it changes the track, but then it also has a delay to be sent back, so that's why it takes a little bit longer. And then it receives the confirmation signal, which will change those torches, and it turns all of them off. So basically how this works down here, goes up a big signal tree. Now, somewhere over here. Okay, so this is the sending signal. This is what is actually sent from the buttons up there. And so each one of the signals are different, but it'll send two signals regardless. Any button that you push, then it'll send two signals. So it interprets those two signals. If it's a reset signal, then it goes one way, but if it's not, if it's any other signal, then it'll go along here to change the first torch. And then once that torch is pressed, or once that torch is changed, then the second beep will go through along here, trigger the AND switch, and then make the second one start flashing. And then after that, it'll continue flashing until the first confirmation signal is sent, and then it'll go along here, it'll check and see if it's a reset one, and then it will trigger this memory switch, which lights up the third one, saying that it's confirming it. But then the second signal that is sent from the confirmation one will reset everything. Or if it's a reset confirmation signal, then it'll just reset everything from that. So it's not overly complicated, but it just takes up a lot of space. But then the actual signal torches that tell you if one of the stations is lit up or not, they work exactly the same as the actual individual stations, but they're just made just to light up a torch instead of changing a track. So now the stations send back a signal. Here, I'll show you that in a second. Okay, so now that we're down here where the signal's received, I'll go and I'll push this button here. It'll send out a signal. Once the signal is received, then it activates the memory switch and changes the track. But at the same time, it also activates another signal transmitter that will send two signals that are exactly the same as it received. So it will confirm that it's going through. Now the only problem is that I had to add in a bunch of delays. There's actually 20 delays altogether there to delay the signal and coming back, because otherwise it gets confused about which signal is which, and then it was tripping up other stations along the way. So that delay is what kind of makes it take forever, because not only does it have to go through the first one, then it has to go through another set of delays, and then it has to go through even more delays to get all the way back to the station. So in total, it's going through probably like 50, 60 delays just to get back to the station to trigger another set of these, which will change the light over and confirm that everything's set. So I know it's kind of ridiculous, but unfortunately I couldn't really figure out any ways to speed it up any. But I might work on that. Otherwise, you know, I'm pretty happy with just the way it is now. So, but yeah, now that I triggered that, then now all I gotta do is hit the reset. It'll send the signal down, and then it'll start processing the signal. And then after it's done processing the signal, then it'll confirm it, and it'll shut everything off. So now everything's set. What's great too is that whenever I hit this button here, then it'll work at each of the stations. So if you have multiple people on like a server, and then you want to know if like someone else is using a station, then you can go ahead and use a system like this, and it will show you where someone's at, so you don't like end up resetting it while they're on a track running around. And yeah, as you can see, it's labeled differently here instead of the house, because for each different station you get off different places. But so like if I was waiting here and I saw the lights change over and these would light up too, then I would know that someone's on it, so I could wait until after those are reset. Because the carts, they also reset it. I'll go ahead and show you that real quick. Okay, so now what I'm going to be doing is I just triggered the switch here, so then there we go. Now the lights, they're going to be lit up at the station. So it's going to say that, yeah, they're still processing it. And, okay, there we go. So now it says, okay, someone's at the station, and that track is triggered. But now these reset buttons, they also reset the track, but now they also reset the signal. So if I go and send that along there, then they'll switch that, but then more importantly, they'll reset all the lights too. So then this is going to be receiving that, and then resets everything. So then now someone that was waiting, they'll know, okay, now I can go somewhere. One interesting thing that I did want to include too is the flashing system. You can use like an actual flasher, but those are kind of unreliable, I found out, and plus it flashes too quickly, so then this signal ends up getting jammed whenever it goes through repeaters or trying to go up the signal tree. So I had to slow it down, and well, the easiest way to do that was to make a little loop for a minecart, and then it hits the switch, and then that's what makes the actual signal flash for the processing part. And so yeah, it's not too complicated, but it works out pretty well, and it's really reliable. And more importantly, whenever you restart the server, then this is still going. A lot of the flashers that are like not mechanical, they're just blocks put around. For some reason, whenever you restart the server or whenever you close out a game, then a lot of times the signal ends up being broken, then you have to go down and reset them. This way, you never have to reset a flasher or something, so it's all maintains itself.